session on the product track. I'm very happy to introduce you, Vivek Bedi, who's the founder of Product Immersion. He's going to talk about another topic that I really care about, and that's why sales and product need to know each other's job. And I would add collaborate more. So, Vivek, thank you so much for joining us today. I'll just show your slides. You are live. The audience is all yours.
Great. Thank you so much. Hey, everybody. Great to meet you. I know I only have 10 minutes and I want to save some time for questions. Quickly on my topic, why sales and product need to know each other's jobs. A little bit more about me, and then we can get into the topic. I have been in the product scene for almost 18 plus years, ran product at big companies like Goldman Sachs for 13 years, Northwestern Mutual for 4 years, but also was the CPO of a lot of hypergrowth companies, LearnVest, Sterling Backcheck, et cetera. A lot of them led to an acquisition, and also just recently exited my own startup focused on women in product, and an incubator program around that. So, extensive product experience. And what I've learned is, wow, product and sales, interesting relationship. They need to spend a lot more time with each other, whether it's a big company or a hypergrowth company. Interesting and fun fact about me, not so fun. I actually played soccer growing up. I tried to play soccer in university. I went to Rutgers. I lasted 1 week because I wasn't that good, I came to realize. But also being a computer engineer and playing soccer was 2 full-time jobs. So I had to choose computers. Okay, so let's get into the topic. Leading teams and challenges across big companies and small, I've learned a few things. The first thing I've learned is sales is amazing. They're so good at telling the story, helping convince users the need that they have. But a lot of times sales doesn't know the product value of itself, right? They're not product managers, to be fair, and they might not know all the details and the value that the product can provide. I just recently finished a project as the CPO of Product School. Product School is higher education for folks looking to get into product. And it's interesting, right? We had our product team and we had our sales team. And the sales team was amazing because they're selling the product to various companies and they're selling the story, but they're actually selling it to product managers. So it was interesting because they came to us saying, I know how to sell the product, but I actually don't know what the class is like and what the course is like and what product and the value we're bringing, right? So it was interesting to just kind of see that disconnect. And while both teams are going off and doing amazing stuff, sales at times might not know the dirty details and how to convert that into a story. Vice versa on the product side, right? We are very excited and very good at building products and building value, but a lot of times we aren't as close to the customer. Sure, we might be close to the customer to get feedback on our product, but we might not be close to the customer and how are you using it? How can we upsell it for you, right? And what's the sales strategy? So, getting more involved in that sales life cycle is really important from the product side as well. Both of these teams can exponentially be more valuable if they just spend more time with each other, right? And if they understand each other's needs. And that's really the point of what we're trying to get at here. In short, sales folks spend time learning more about the features, values, and stories. What I learned is if you're in sales, it's not that you have to know how to build products or understand technology. You don't need to know the product in detail. But what you need is these product features convert into this value that I can provide. And that'll just make the sales team even more stronger, right? Because they can now talk about and pitch their product and pitch the sales life cycle by knowing a lot of the details of the product and the value and showing examples. PMs can spend more time in the sales cycle, right? Spending more time on shadowing, watching how customers, what they liked about the product, what did they not like about the product? Why did they choose a competitor versus us? Really understanding those dynamics and spending time with even the sales team to understand what positioning works. When I ran product at Northwestern Mutual, it was interesting because we had 8,000 financial advisors that were selling life insurance day in and day out, right? And I was leading the product team, But this team was probably the best sales team I've ever met in my life. They were so good at their job. They knew the product, they were positioning it as its story, and we shadowed them for months and watched how they did the amazing stuff they did. And what I learned from it is, wow, there's so much I didn't know about the product that I can build by learning that sales cycle. So leveraging each other and finding channels to do that is really, really important. In practice, how do you actually do this, right? One of the things that I've learned is product. I'm working with a few clients right now, and it's interesting, right? The product team and sales team actually don't talk to each other that often, sales or marketing. So I think it's really important to really kind of find a channel to bring these teams together. I remember when I was leading product at the background check company that I was at, one of our clients was Salesforce, and we were pitching it to Salesforce. And the sales team was talking to Salesforce because it was a technical client. The product team was talking to Salesforce. They weren't talking to them together. We didn't know what each team was talking about, hence became the mess, right? So what we started thinking about is pod teams, right? Just like in product, we have pod teams. Why wouldn't we have sales representatives join our pod teams at times, especially at the top of the funnel teams? So really where they understand, and they don't need to be there every day to understand all the dirty details, but at least understand the value of what's coming up down the pike. In that example, we had mobile we were going to launch, and we were able to translate when we launch mobile, here's the story and value that you can convert on the sales side. So really forcing those teams to kind of find a channel where they can come together. Pod teams and visiting them were great. I jumped into the pit, as they call it, on the sales side, spending a lot of time with sales, understanding who are the top closers, who are not, why are some of their challenges, what is the script they use. Shadow sessions is really exciting and important. It's a great technique where you're watching, right? And you're watching other people, in this case, a product manager watching a sales representative do the magic they do, right? And how are they closing the deal? What words are they using? What examples are they using? Which parts of the product are they showing? Which competitors are they running into? So really kind of thinking through how you integrate squads and pod teams and have that different level of working. Last thing I'll leave you here with is artifacts. I found that it's very valuable, just like product managers are creating, the stuff that they need to do to build technology. It's equally important to create those artifacts that says, here's the one pager. Here's the one pager of what we're going to launch. And it's not about the dirty details, right? Think about when you download a new version of the app on the App Store or your Google Play Store. It'll say the release notes in a high level, like this is the value you're going to get after you download this new version. And those are the types of one pagers and artifacts that I found that really help enhance that relationship with the sales team and bring those teams together to kind of rock and do the stuff that we can do. Um, you know, I'll open it up for Q&A because I know we're up on time. But, the last thing I'd say here is whether it's a big company or a growth company, it's B2B, B2C, B2B2C. It doesn't really matter. It feels like historically the sales and marketing team and the product team have been siloed a bit, right? And breaking down those silos is our job because in the end of the day, it is one team and we're really selling and building amazing products for our end customers. So it's important that these two teams, as they engage with these end customers, they're also engaging with each other and really finding what is that foundational layer and what is that right way of working and culture that's going to enhance both of their jobs, right? I'll leave with please, please, please spend time with your sales team if you haven't. Please spend time with your product team if you haven't, and really try to dissect what the value is and how we can kind of use that and leverage it for your own roles. All right, opening it up for questions, Massimo.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That was really insightful and a hot topic that from different angles we've touched multiple times today. Seems like breaking down the silos between product marketing and sales, it's really the focus of most companies I'm talking with in this period. It's a huge pain point. And we were just chatting a few sessions ago with Alex Grant from Personio on the importance of the feedback, of the product feedback that comes from sales, because customer success and customer support usually is very incremental feedback. They can help you make your product a bit better, but usually existing customers just complain or ask about the pain point they have right now using the product, while product feedback from sales is amazing just because people have not seen the product. They have like blank sheet and they really tell you what they would love your product to be. Question, have you ever tried aligning rewards and goals between product and sales as a way to speed up these?
Yeah, and that's where I was alluding to. And you bring up a good point. I think product feedback that comes from the sales team or the sales channel is really interesting because there's no bias there, right? It's not like you have used the product in a lot of these cases. It's usually new customers or upsell customers. So it's interesting feedback. And you're right, as product managers, we need to spend time to get that feedback. And as sales representatives, we need to spend time to give that feedback. So valid point there. As far as integrating goals and rewards, yes, I think the future, Massimo, is actually, sales are usually driven on numbers, right? Generating revenue, and product rewards and benefits are usually driven on features and enhancements, right? So I think bringing a world of those two together is difficult, but it's really exciting. If we can crack that nut, it becomes really rewarding because then in the end of the day, you're serving the customer and the company. A lot of times those actually have a conflict, right? Because product, you might be trying to build value for the customer, but sales, you might be trying to also win business for the company and vice versa. So there could be conflict there as well. And I think I have tried this, and it's important to really think through that we are one team. So when you ask a product manager to start thinking about revenue for the company, and you ask a sales agent to start thinking about value for the customer, the script balances a bit, right, Massimo? So I think it's important to really kind of bring those two together. And it's hard, but how do you create a uniform set of goals and rewards where you can find that balance? So some of the things that have worked for me is if we sell more mobile, right, we will get this much more benefit for the employee base, right? So it's trying to set revenue numbers, not just on the company level or the entire product level, but trying to set them on feature levels, right? Or groups of portfolios of features. That becomes interesting too. And then last final thought I'd say is looking at different type of clients, right? When in the sales cycle, you might have B2B clients, enterprise clients, big, small. That plays an interesting role too, because depending on your client, there might be more involvement in product. I remember when I was at Goldman, as much as I loved the sales team, I always wanted to talk to the product manager at Cisco or Microsoft because I was a product manager and I wanted to see what is the future there. Now, when I worked at LearnVest, I didn't care as much. So being in different environments, you actually kind of get influenced about how your approach is. And we need to kind of come up with a uniform way to do that.
I think also getting like a product manager in the sales conversation helps a lot, especially when sharing the roadmap. I feel potential customer tends not to trust product promises from salespeople.
Yes.
While if there is an actual PM explaining the roadmap and making formal commitment, that's way more effective for closing deals.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I would urge every sales team to spend more time, A, learning your team's product roadmap, but B, also bringing in the product team and having them have a place in your sales pitch and deck, right? Because, I think both roles are equally important for the client, but for different reasons, as you pinpointed.
Awesome. Vivek, thank you so much for joining us. It was really interesting session. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Have a great rest of the day.
You too.
And for everyone else, thank you for staying with us in the product track. I had a lot of great insights from today's session. I hope it was great for you as well. This was the last talk of a product track. Please remember that we also have stage 1, 2, and 4 that will keep doing session for another half an hour. And later on, we have a closing session at 3:10 p.m. Eastern on stage 1. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.